for the Get to the Point review.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Get to the Point review podcast. I am your host, Kelly McKinney of Hohenheim Productions.
And I'm your other host, Josh Gibson from Fourth Wall Players.
And we're coming to you for Cinco de Mayo.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Yeah, it's our Cinco de Mayo episode.
Ay.
And, you know, we realized too late that we missed an opportunity with a recent movie as far as Latinx actors, actresses. Mm-hmm. And actually went with Desperados rather than Hustlers. We should have went with Hustlers with Jennifer Lopez.
I mean, to be fair, I guess in my thinking of it, since Hustlers specifically took place in Mexico, which is like what Cinco de Mayo is.
Yes.
It's not all of Latin America. It's specifically Mexico.
No, we didn't miss our mark.
Yeah, we didn't miss the mark. We just missed an opportunity.
We missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
As far as salacious nature.
So for all of you Hustlers fans out there, we didn't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, we missed the chance, but we did do Desperados.
Woohoo!
Which was Nasim Pedrad, right?
Nasim Pedrad, I think is how we pronounce her name.
Okay, all right.
Who's
gotcha.
not Mexican.
Not Mexican. No. And in fact, she has Iranian roots. Mm-hmm. We found out that was really cool. Yeah, and Desperados. Wow.
Yeah.
That's our recent movie. You want to go first, Josh?
Okay. All right. So there's a lot more to unpack here, but for right now, my Get to the Point review on Desperados was overnight delivery, gender flipped with train wreck type of humor. Though a huge bulk of the movie takes place in Mexico, it's mostly used as a background for bad jokes. Would love to say the tender scenes were well done, but one was interrupted by a dolphin dick. And that's mine. There we go.
Yeah, wow.
Elephant in the room.
Dolphin dick, indeed.
Or dolphin dick in the room. It's just as noticeable.
Yeah, and the way that I would summarize Desperados is that it was basically discount Sandra Bullock's reminds us why relationships are so hard. A woman who wants a relationship for all the wrong reasons goes from one bad relationship to another bad one. I said that this alternatively could have been titled Desperate Trainwreck, Virgos on the Rise.
Right. Right.
Because, gosh.
So, there's just so much going on with this movie. Like, it's one of those, like, I almost want to like it, but there's just so much wrong with it that I can't.
This is the thing, is that we already know that what we liked about it is just the casting choices as far as, like, the acting.
Right.
The acting was spot on in an awful movie.
It's so rare to see, like, such, like, well-done acting and just, like,
in
a stupid
2000s comedy. Yeah, gosh.
And they did it, and it doesn't matter because the movie was just bad.
Yeah, the actor playing Sean Maguire, that was the
Lamorne
role.
Morris. I love that dude.
Wow, like he was mind-blowingly good on screen. Mm-hmm. Both the way he's charismatic. He reminds me of someone I know in person in real life named Q.
Okay.
Quentin Ross. He like just how cool and laid back he is, but like go with the flow and still high intellect and quick-witted. Like, it was very cool.
And he had really good chemistry with Nasim Pedrad, and I think it's because they actually played love interest for a few seasons on New Girl.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because he's like a regular character, and she was like his girlfriend for a few seasons on it. I haven't watched that far into New Girl yet, but I do know that is going to happen. I remember Nasim Pedrad from her SNL days, which she did.
When I looked up the actress, that was completely new news to me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so she's from something.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
From something.
She's from something, okay. Because I just saw a young Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, she was never, like, she was a featured player for a while, but she was never, like, front and center. You know, you always have, like, the 4 to 6 people that, like, are in every episode.
Yeah.
She wasn't ever one of those guys, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so I think helping us unpack this movie a little bit might by going into our recent review on it.
Yeah, okay, we can look at the review.
Yes.
Did you want to do the review first, or me do that one too?
So by variety, I'll go first with the review.
Okay.
So we always take a look at both a recent movie and a recent review on it. Mm-hmm. We took a look at Variety's review. I love Variety. They always do such a great job. That was one of the first magazines.
And so many choices.
They really do. And this one was by Peter Debruge.
Dad joke.
It really was. It really was. I just didn't even entertain it. That dad joke died right as soon as it landed. But by Peter Debruge. And I said that Peter pulls no punches and gives one of the best reviews I've read. The review is better than the movie.
I don't know about that.
I thought he summarized it.
I mean, well, okay, fine. It's a low bar. I guess
You realize this had a 15%. This has a 15% on Rotten
I know, I
Tomatoes.
saw that.
Okay.
There's our next note of brilliance.
There are no. Yeah, we'll struggle. You know, Sean might actually provide a note of brilliance.
Yeah, there we
We'll
go.
have to take a look at it. Okay, wow. But like, yeah. So Sean, again, the acting was great, and the way that Peter basically summarized this is that Nasim can carry a movie. And
Yes.
people will watch her do about anything, and
Yeah.
I agree. Like
I would, yeah.
I was not familiar with her at all, and I'm a fan of her. Not so much
Right.
this movie, but her.
I am what's the word I'm looking for? Optimistic about her now. She was also a smaller a side character, well, not a supporting role in the live action Aladdin movie.
Yeah, I read that on her IMDb.
I did not enjoy that character, but it wasn't her fault necessarily. They just wanted her to be like stupid comic relief, and then also be like love interest for the genie, which was like, what? Why are we adding this in? So it was just, I just didn't like the character, you know. And again,
After seeing this movie, I do understand the love interest part.
Yeah.
For the genie.
Yeah.
Totally get it. Totally get it. After watching Desperados, yeah. Not the character that she portrayed in Desperados.
Yeah.
But her.
Yeah.
She's very attractive. That is for sure. Okay. Cool.
So anyway, we're on.
Yes.
Do we even need mine? I don't know.
No, we do.
Okay, so my get to the point review on Peter here is I think he spends too much time on a woke soapbox. I actually agree it was a bit cringy, but I did laugh quite a few times, and it was no worse than like forgetting Sarah Marshall or sleeping with other people. He just can't get past that dolphin dick. Like that's, I can't either. I mean, to be fair, like it's like it haunts me in my dreams now.
No, but this is
I'm
what's
just
interesting. This is why. Okay, so this is also why we do reviews over a review, because you and I definitely have. So where most of the time I would totally agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, he was on a woke soapbox, but one of the very first things that I thought while watching this movie before ever reading it was, why on earth, especially at the end.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
for the three of you that'll watch it.
Yeah, so the thing is that with this movie, it would have been much more impactful for after Sean's in-restaurant speech about, hey, you know, I'm just not ready for this romantic guy relationship thing. I'm still recovering. What I'm looking for right now is more casual, and I wouldn't be able... I'd have to entertain a serious relationship with you, and I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, she walks out, and then she's still okay. She
Yeah.
didn't need a man
That
to
would have
fix all
been-
of her fucking problems.
That would have been a good...
A redeeming quality at the end of the film that would have, you know, sort of saved the character for us.
Right.
Instead, he goes directly against what
20
he said
seconds
20
later.
seconds later. As she just left the restaurant, stares down at a crack in the sidewalk, and now he's outside. Holy crap.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they wanted to have their cake and eat it too,
Right, so
and it just came off looking sloppy.
it was like, this is the thing, is that
Sorry, Sean.
leaving it open like that, where he's not ready for a relationship and she's still strong without a man in her life,
Would have been great.
it would have been great. That's still a tidy ending.
I
It's
wrote a movie that
realistic.
has the exact same ending. I did. No, seriously. Except
Which
it was
one?
a guy instead of a girl. Well, okay, so it's that bromance thing I keep trying to pitch to
Oh
you.
yeah, okay.
So basically, the whole point of the movie, just to give a quick recap, is that these two best friends who are also roommates.
We do that a lot.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Holy shit, we
you know,
do that a lot.
you got to draw from experience, right? These two best friends who are also roommates are struggling to try to pay off the main character's girlfriend's debit credit cards or whatever before she finds out, and she gets mad and breaks up with him. It's like the main character's whole driving force behind this is just to not make his girlfriend mad because he doesn't want to lose her.
Right, he wants to save
And
his
there's
relationship.
obviously, and I do this because I'm kind of a troll, there's obviously a setup where there's this like cooler, more nerdy, more down to earth girl that's totally into him, but he just doesn't realize it because he's so like freaking out about his girlfriend. And at the end, he breaks up with his girlfriend, you know, because he's like, you know what, I don't need this. Like fuck you, get out. And you know, then the other girl is all like, hey, that was pretty awesome, so I guess you're available now. And he's like, what are you talking about? I just broke up with my girlfriend. I'm nowhere near ready for this. And he's like, look, I mean, we're still friends, but you know, this isn't happening right now. Right. And that was how I had the ending. And I mean, it's still probably pretty poorly executed because I wrote it when I was like 21. But
that's what rewrites are for.
That's what rewrites are for.
That's what rewrites are.
But I liked my ending. I liked that. I liked that he didn't need to, and it's the same gender flip, you know, other way around.
Still, yeah.
You know, and I get it's a rom-com, so you almost have to have them end up with somebody, but you don't have to in every story have the main character be like validated, especially female main characters, be validated by finding a man.
Right. Well,
you know?
Yeah. There was just other ways to find validation. She was,
and I thought she found that.
She did through her career. The fact that she has been doing it for how long with her new job without a man. She should be able to continue. And
it was also rushed because they decided to make room for that dolphin dick.
Yeah, yeah, and it's probably more so that I just didn't want Nasim to end up with anybody but me. So it's like, no, it's okay. She can be single. Bitch. I'm petty. You petty bitch. How dare you? Oh man, yeah, that's.
Yeah, we're doing a show.
We are doing a show. All right, so that brings us to the bulk of our show, which is focused, being that it's Cinco de Mayo. Is focused on our favorite LatinX actors, which I believe is the new term, right? LatinX.
Yeah, LatinX just basically means it's non-gender specific.
Non-gender specific.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we specifically went with comedy actors this time, right? Did we both?
Yeah, we both decided comedic, I think.
We both went with comedic. Now, I only, on my list, there is only one exception, and that was because I couldn't come up with another comedic actor. I just couldn't. Mm-hmm. The ones that I am familiar with didn't make the mark for favorites.
Yeah.
They're more so just notable.
Yeah,
like, I know them.
Right.
I know of them, and are very familiar with their work, but maybe I'm not in love with them.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Fair enough.
And I'll go ahead and kick us off. With,
all right.
With Luis Guzman.
Okay.
Okay. And
not surprised.
No. But this is the thing: is that it's interesting because he's done so much.
He has.
Okay? And we've honestly covered quite a few of his movies already.
Yeah.
So I had to go with, and this was perfect because it's comedy, Waiting, 2005. Right?
That was one of my favorite roles of his.
Yeah, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a good movie and an awful movie. It's fun to watch. It's
definitely a product of the times.
It's definitely
a
product
lot
of the times.
Issues, yeah.
Uh-huh. And for a further breakdown of Waiting, you can go check out our episode of A Note of Brilliance over Waiting. Mm-hmm. But there's a certain passion that Radimus shows in explaining the rules of the game that few actors can show in a serious role, let alone a comedy with such bad ratings.
Right.
And that's basically how I summarize Waiting from 2005 with Luis Guzman. Because,
that is one of the best scenes when he's describing the different ways to play the penis showing game.
It really is. Because he's so passionate about it. And he's so animated. And I could have went with, Count of Monte Cristo. Like, he's done so much.
Right.
But I'd already done Count of Monte Cristo for our training montage.
That's right,
episode.
You did.
Yeah.
Right,
sure
I forgot about that.
All right, and so kick us off with your number one, with your first one.
My first one, and again, these are no specific orders, whatever, but my first get-to-the-point review is on John Leguizamo, who should not be a surprise.
Oh, no.
Right?
Nope.
Do you have him too?
Yeah, okay. Overlap. Yep.
One of the most underrated actors out there because he takes lots of risks with his roles. However, he is adored by 5-year-olds everywhere as Sid the Sloth from the Ice Age movies, and by me from movies like Moulin Rouge. Can't wait for his next project.
Okay, and so is Moulin Rouge the movie you picked to review then?
I don't know if
it's technically your review on.
I mean, I'm reviewing them as actors, not necessarily like. I think one or two of them I have specific things, but it's hard with John Leguizamo. Like, he just does so many things.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You had to pick a movie, which
fine. My movie is Ice Age. How about that?
Okay.
How about that? Because that's actually comedy. Moulin Rouge really is.
Okay. Well, for John Leguizamo, I went with The Pest, 1997.
There you go. Okay.
And it's because that's my first memory of John when I was a kid. And it also marks my first Easter egg hunt in movies.
Oh.
Where it was like doing breakdowns, kind of like the way we do with A Note of Brilliance, or the way that New Rockstars does with trailers and everything else. I was doing that with The Pest when I was a kid, and it's pretty much the first time, aside of Jim Carrey's The Mask, that I was pulling things, or for instance, there were, in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective 1 and 2, there were call-outs to other movies.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was doing like little mental breakdowns of that when I was a kid as well. But as far as like with John Leguizamo, like definitely The Pest was the first time I was breaking down. So I was like, oh, that's from that famous story, like where you know, The Most Dangerous Game is what I would think. I
couldn't even tell you like what when I started doing. I've just always done that as far as memory serves me. I couldn't even tell you what age I was.
It strikes me as one of the first times I made a connection that movies were calling out to other things in
like I remember when I was like 5. I knew like 3 actors, and it was like Mel Gibson, John Travolta, and I don't remember who else. Just because of the movies that like my parents watched, right?
Yeah.
And so like I would see them in a movie, I'm like, oh, they were in this movie, and I was like 5.
See, I reckon.
God, I'm a loser. I was destined to be this person.
John Travolta, Patrick Swayze, and Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
were the 3 actors
right.
that I knew and would recognize.
A couple
in
years
anything.
after that, I probably knew who Jim Carrey was.
Right.
I remember Michael Keaton was like my favorite actor for the longest time, and you guys can make fun of me all you want.
No, I had the original Batman on VHS and played that thing like crazy.
But between like Beetlejuice, Batman, and Johnny Dangerously, and Mr. Mom, oh my gosh, there's so many. And like even now here recently with Birdman, and he was one of the funniest
Birdman.
parts in the other guys as the police.
Yeah, yes, as the police captain. My goodness, oh gosh.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Anyway.
Well, so The Pest with John Leguizamo was number 2 for me.
Yeah, so my number 2, this is kind of a lazy one, but George Lopez. He had a fantastic show. I actually really liked the George Lopez show when it was on air. And he's a pretty funny stand-up, and I liked his like late night show when he had that. But other than Balls of Fury, he really should just stay away from movies altogether. So I guess Balls of Fury, because you got to see him just kind of play like the straight guy in like a cast full of just zany, over-the-top maniacs, including characters played like Terry Crews and Patton Oswalt. On and on. And then, of course, who can forget, Christopher Walken. What was they called in China? Ping pong, That's such a great movie.
Well, for my number 3, speaking of great movies, that's sort of a joke. Great, I love it. Not so
but
great.
Not so great.
But the critics hate it. With Sofia Vergara.
Wow.
Yeah. What, Four Brothers, 2005.
She was in that?
She was in that.
It's
she
been
played
so long
Sophie.
since I've seen that movie.
She was
Right.
Tyrese Gibson's love interest.
Yeah, right.
And she played her role to a T.
Mm-hmm.
She was supposed to be the ridiculously crazy
Yeah.
Latin girlfriend, and she
Which is
pulled
pretty
it up. She made me love
What's
Latin women.
much of a stretch for Sofia Vergara?
No, which is so great. She got to play herself in a movie, and I got to fall in love with her that much more. Because it's a continuation for Four Brothers. For those of you who don't know, is a continuation of John Singleton's love affair with Detroit, and this fun but underwhelming revenge flick from the 2000s, which we also have a Note of Brilliance episode on. You can check out on our YouTube. And so that's my number 3.
Yep. So my next one, this is also one that should be pretty obvious, is Cheech Marin.
Oh.
His name is synonymous with comedy, right? I love his serious stuff too. It's just unfortunate people can't look past his Cheech and Chong days, because he's done so many great things. I mean, a lot of his voice work.
If you take a look at the past 12 years on his IMDb, it's extensive.
And he does all sorts of guest spots on shows, and he's everywhere. Like, seeing him in Lost, I was like, what the hell? Like, I just,
and it's all interesting roles.
Yeah.
Like what's interesting about his career is that he's honestly never been typecast.
Right.
The Cheech and Chong stuff was, if I'm correct, were pretty much his movies, right? Like him and
Tommy Chong made it.
Him and Tommy Chong's, their passion projects turned into Hollywood successes.
Right.
So, like, it's not like he typecast himself in those. Those were his fun. Those are essentially his roommate dramas and ridiculous rom-coms and sitcoms and everything else we've done in the past year. Like, it's to the same degree where it's not typecast if you do it yourself.
Yeah, I love Cheech Marin. And if we had to pick a certain movie, I'd say Oliver and Company. I thought he was the best part of that movie.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Him as a little chihuahua. That was awesome.
Yep. Awesome voiceover work for sure. And, you can pick him out, his little voice out of a million times.
Yeah, that's what I love about it.
And as far as comedy, like, voices that you can kind of pick out, brings right into number 4 for me, Michael Pena.
Okay.
Now, I didn't choose a comedy from his IMDb to showcase his talent, but that's because his comedy may be some of the better parts of the movies that he's done comedy in. Yes. But those may not be great movies. Right. Which is why it didn't make my list. Right. So, Michael Pena, you make my list with Fury from 2014. 2014.
Yeah, 2014.
2014, baby. We're up there now. But Pena adds to the star-studded diversity of this cast in a horrifying portrayal of a tank battalion in World War II.
Right.
And he's stunning in this film. Like I said, he blends in with the rest of the cast really, really well.
Another great like dramatic film that he's in is it's not Rescue 911. It was a movie about like him and Nicolas Cage were firefighters that got stuck under the rubble.
It's World Trade Center.
It's called World Trade Center.
World Trade Center. Yep.
Right. Yeah. That's another great movie that he's. That's such a great movie too. I think a lot of great performances in that one.
Yeah. Even Nicolas Cage.
Well, that's one of his good ones.
It is. It really.
I mean,
is.
he's not a bad actor. He just he's like John Leguizamo. He takes a lot of roles.
He takes
a lot of risks. Because he's like, oh, I want to play different characters.
Yeah.
Even though he very specifically has a niche.
He
wants to go outside that niche
German
so bad.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so this wasn't my fourth one, but I also have Michael Pena. I do. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Are you shocked?
I am shocked about that overlap. I wasn't shocked about John Leguizamo.
My get to the point review on him is one guy who took a while to break through, but so glad he finally did. His performance as Luis in the Ant-Man movies was one of the best parts of the films. If you need to search his other movies, just ask Baskin Robbins, because Baskin Robbins always finds out. There's my little quote.
And that was the comedy that comes to mind.
Yeah.
His recent films where he did, it's definitely one of the best parts of the film.
It's like Baskin Robbins always finds out.
Wow, crazy. Well, speaking of crazy, that's actually a perfect segue into my last pick, okay, which is Robert Losarto.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know, he's...
Which is about 90% of you watching.
Yeah, he's pretty niche too, okay? You may recognize him just like I did, primarily, from Nip Tuck.
Okay.
He did like pretty much all 7 seasons of Nip Tuck. He played a recurring role where he was a cartel, gang leader. Most oftentimes coming to the plastic surgeons for help.
Right.
A lot of times to remove drugs from women they were using as mules. Okay.
Right.
And so, but he's terrifying in the role, and at the same time, you fall in love with his character over like 7 seasons.
Right.
And so he just always sticks out in my mind as an incredible actor for the simple fact that in the role that he played in this, serial drama, essentially, is just like, it's crazy to me that it stuck out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when I think of Latin...
when you look back on the show, and you're like, oh, it's weird what characters like stick with you.
Yeah, Latin American actors. It's like if I ever need a incredibly intelligent like gang member, I will be trying to cast him for sure because I know he can play it.
Right.
He'll pull it off, like terrifying and like looking through your soul all at once. It's really great sort of fear thing.
Right. So my last get to the point review, it's a double 2-for-1 deal. Stephanie Beatriz and Melissa Fumero. They're the 2 main actresses on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So
okay.
My review is 2-for-1 from one of my favorite comedies, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Their conflicting comedic performances makes them work. Amy is like the rule-following neat freak, and Rose is the badass rebel. Love seeing episodes that, like, the 2 of them spend a lot of time together. Because, like, it's so cool. Like, Rose is just like that, like, wears the leather, never smiles, beats the shit out of guys twice her size, and Amy's, like, trying to, like, organize paperwork and, make sure everybody has hand sanitizer, and, it's just funny, like, seeing them work together. Because they're both still good cops in the show. They just, they just approach it from different ways, right? So, no.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and they're both Latina actors, so.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't. Yeah. Well, I mean, I still haven't seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
It's just on my to binge watch.
Right.
To binge list.
I will say, like, Rosa, who's Stephanie Beatriz, she is fun from the beginning. It takes a little bit to warm up to Amy, who's Melissa Fumero, but she gets really good too.
Gotcha. Okay.
So.
All right.
And there we go. Are we ready? Am I going first?
Uh-huh.
Alrighty. Curious about the behind-the-scenes merch and movies that aren't on YouTube? Get exclusive access to the movies, merch, and more through Patreon. Find Fourth Wall Players at patreon.com/fourthwallplayers. That's patreon.com/4thwallplayers, all one word.
And are you looking to start a podcast, Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. With Buzzsprout, you'll get a great-looking website, audio players you can drop, detailed analytics, tools to promote, and more. Following the link in the show notes lets Buzzsprout know we sent you, get you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, and help support our show. So let's create something great together with Buzzsprout.
And if we can do it, guys, you can. And
For sure.
if, after the podcast, you're still clamoring for entertainment, film news, movie breakdowns, or comedy series, you can find more of Kelly and Josh on Hohenheim Productions YouTube with segments like What It Is, A Note of Brilliance, and TV series plots as guests through memes.
There we go.
Thank you.
And, guys, that was our Cinco de Mayo episode.
That
Have
was
margarita
fun.
on us.
Yeah, take shots every time we go off script. You guys will be drunk. by
Oh,
the end
yeah,
of this.
yeah. Anytime we mention a movie that we didn't actually give a get-to-the-point review on,
Which
then
is a lot.
You should be taking a tequila shot for us.
Yes.
And we will be back to our regular schedule. So we'll see you guys a week after Mother's Day for our Mother's Day special.
Yes.
Which was originally going to be a Memorial Day special, but there would be no Memorial Day if not for mothers. So
That's true.
That's the logic we're going
None of us
with.
would be here.
And we'll see you guys next time. For
See you next time.
Review podcast.
Rad.
Get to the point.